This is the SFFaudio Podcast. I'm Scott.
And this is Jesse.
Hello, and this is Carsten.
Hello there, Karsten.
Hi there. Hope you're doing well over there. What time is it there?
It is 6 a.m. where I am.
And 5 a.m. where I am.
Oh my God, you have my deepest commiserations there.
And it's 1 a.m. 1 p.m. for you, or something like that. Right?
Yeah. Just lunchtime. Yeah.
So, Karsten, you're joining us from Germany, is that correct?
No, not really.
Okay.
I was in Germany last week.
Is it the planet Earth?
I am. Yes, that is true.
Excellent.
No,
okay.
I am German. However, I am in the UK at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I live here.
Great. Okay.
So you were, when you were in Germany last week, you were there for a visit or just
Yeah. That was
extra
just
work or? Okay.
No, just an holiday.
Gotcha.
Meeting friends and family.
Fantastic. All right, well, I've got some rivals to talk about. Should I get into those?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I got two from Macmillan Audio. The first one is Halo, The Cole Protocol by Tobias S. Buckell.
Yeah, that's one of those tie-in books, but Tobias Buckell's I think that's probably his first tie-in book.
I think so, too, yeah. He, in fact, the only Tobias Buckell I've read so far is Metatropolis. You remember that collection that was exclusive to Audible?
It's not exclusive anymore. I see
saw that.
Subterranean's going to make a paper book out of it.
Yeah, Subterranean, you bet. So, anyway, yep, The Cole Protocol. Looks like a prequel type of a deal there.
I should actually add one in here, too.
Okay.
Actually, I got in the mail just yesterday, Canada 2056.
Oh.
Volume 2, uncut, and with extra goodness.
Hooray!
So I'll scan
Love it.
the cover of that, and I'll send it off your way.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I'm eager to hear that one. I love that series.
Did you ever hear any of that, Karsten?
No. Actually, I wanted to. It's on my list because I've read so much about it on SFFaudio.
Yeah.
So, you keep mentioning it quite often. So yeah, I should probably give it a try one day.
Well,
I think
won't
that's
be
why they
disappointed.
sent it to us. It's like, thank you for mentioning it every day. Something like that. Yeah.
You bet. Well, that's good stuff.
It's kind of. I feel kind of bad about mentioning stuff that is harder to listen to every day, saying, you should really try it. It's on the radio today. And, because then it's sort of giving extra weight to stuff that is actually harder to get to. So, but on the other hand, it did eventually get put to disc. So, yeah.
All right. So is it, or was it available as a podcast, or
there's an unofficial podcast feed, not an official one. For various reasons, they couldn't get an official one, but the unofficial one I do believe is still active. I'm just double check on that. That would have been put out by the Zombie Astronaut.
all right, yeah, the indispensable one.
He is absolutely indispensable. Only thing that's dispensable is his live journal. I don't like his blog setup being in live journal. I can't figure out why anybody uses live journal. Are you a live journal?
Oh, well.
You're not a live journal guy, are you?
No. And apart from that, I've just read that it's obviously going down anyway.
Is it? Oh, good. I mean,
Well, tell that to the 20 people that they just laid off. But
is there only 20? That would make sense. I don't know. No, yeah, it's not good for them. So the if this feed still works, it is http://thezombieastronaut.com/podcasts-only/rss2.aspx. If it still works. I've got actually seasons 1 and 2 of the unofficial podcast feed for Canada 2056 there. And that looks like it was broadcast beginning August, going until the 20th month of... No.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. No. Broadcast in the spring going till the summer. From 05 to 06. So that would have been, I don't know, June and July? No. May and June, I think. January, February, March, April, May. May and June of 2008. So if they're still there, that's where they would be. Now, the good news is, even if they're not still there, you can still get a hold of this stuff. It's available through the CBC radio website, which is does ship worldwide, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, try the first set, and if you like it, get the second. Scott seems to even like it more than I do, which I think is kind of funny.
Yes, I'm not Canadian, yet I think they're absolutely hilarious. I compare them real favorably to Red Dwarf. I actually enjoy them better than I do Red Dwarf.
I don't
laughs per minute than Red Dwarf.
But certainly it's better than a lot of the Red Dwarf. A lot of Red Dwarf.
Uh-huh.
Oh well, smeg. Well, can I say that on television?
Yeah, that's one of the on the podcast.
Yeah, in fact, I'm preparing a review for Steve the First, which is a series that Matt Watts did before he did Canada, and I sure enjoy those two.
Yeah, that's two series. Steve the First and Steve the Second are two CBC radio dramas that preceded Canada 2056. So I guess that was 4 years ago. So they've run in the summers.
Mm-hmm.
And the Steve the First series is a post-apocalyptic drama set in Toronto, I think, after something disastrous has happened. And everybody's mutated except for very few people. Most people are mutated, and they're all looking for water and to become the mayor of Toronto.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But it's got a narrator, which is, I think, kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So the narrator is he's all-knowing. He seems to be looking back even farther from the future on this time after the bombs fell, I guess. Or was it bombs, or was it like just pollution? I can't remember.
No, I think it was bombs.
Okay.
Mm.
So it's like he's making fun of all the genres. There's some making fun of the movies like Chud, I guess, and all the. It's not really Mad Max very much. It's more like I think there was another BBC one about after the bombs fell as well, wasn't there?
I wouldn't know, to be honest.
No, I don't think I've seen it, but I think there was a half-hour comedy television series about a post-apocalyptic comedy, which just seems kind of heavy.
Sounds like it's Broadway worthy.
Yeah.
Brits.
That's right. So when can we look forward to those reviews, Scott?
Soon.
Okay.
Actually, probably not next week, but the week after. I think I have reviews to fill next week in my office.
I gotta finish them up. I got 15 reviews ready to go.
You bet.
Well, not really ready. They're all in various states of writing.
Heck yeah.
And what are you going to put out for us, Karsten, as a review?
Oh yeah, actually I'm still in. Well, there should be the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society have brought out a couple of new audio dramas, or audio theatres as I call them. And yeah, actually one of the reviews should be finished pretty soon, hopefully.
The first one was, what was it? The first one was at Mountains of Madness.
At the Mountains of, yeah, exactly. Second one was the Dunwich Horror. And which I thought was much better than at the Mountains of Madness, because it worked better as a drama. And yeah, they just, I think quite recently actually, they published Escape from Innsmouth, and that's actually the title of a role-playing game supplement for Innsmouth. Which I just realised. And The Shadow Out of Time.
The Shadow Out of Time. I think I've read that one. I haven't heard the audio drama of it, but
so these were all made as audio drama by who?
It's the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
Oh, okay.
Which, yeah, I think they started off as, you know, mainly doing props and stuff for the role-playing game and for the live-action role-playing game. And a couple of years ago they made a 1920s style silent movie, which was pretty cool, at least from what I could see from the trailers and stuff. And yeah, began to publish radio dramas or audio dramas in, I think, 2006. Great. Yeah, and this year they've just published 2 in a row. It's pretty good. And they're quite high quality.
Oh, good.
The Shadow Out of Innsmouth, yeah. Now, that doesn't sound like a story. Is that a compilation? Or am I just not remembering that story?
No, it's Shadow over Innsmouth, I think. That's the... that is a story. That is one of the famous Lovecraft stories.
I don't think I've read that one.
Oh, well, maybe you shouldn't. You live in a coastal town, don't you?
Yeah.
City, rather.
Oh, this is... Oh, wait a second. Is this one where, like, fish people come out of the ocean or something?
Yeah. Exactly.
Uh-oh. Yeah. They give me nightmares.
Well, good.
What am I looking at, Scott?
The original review that has been posted of the At the Mountains of Madness. I think, is that the Historical Society?
Yep. Yeah, that's the Dark Adventure Radio Theater at the Mountains of Madness. And then underneath you can see Carson's got basically a full review as well.
Great.
In the comments.
Fantastic.
So they're just one CD. They're not that long, are they?
No, it wasn't long. I actually saw that package, and they've got some cool extras in there, too.
Yeah, they even brought out a new collector's box, which you can order separately, I think, which is in the shape of a, old-time wood radio.
Oh, cool.
Oh, neat. Yeah, I remember at the Mountains of Madness had, I believe it was newspaper clippings. And,
yeah.
Did the others include similar things?
Apparently they do. However, I only got the direct downloads. Quite simply because it's easier for me, and also their shipping and tax and whatnot. Sure. The cost can easily double the cost for the actual radio drama. So yeah,
And I remember when I talked to you last time, you were talking about how their direct downloads were not very polished. The audio was fine, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's just the little things, like the files weren't tagged, cover art included and stuff like that, which is, I mean, it's probably a bit anal to complain about that.
I don't think you can tag just a regular MP3 file with a cover art, but you certainly can fill in all the textual details.
Oh yeah, you can do with the cover art as well.
Oh, I think you can only do that in iTunes. I don't think you can tag it just a regular MP3 file. Like you can say that you can. Okay.
Yeah. Because I remember the last download, which was the most recent 9 Inch Nails album, which was released for free, completely legal on the internet, and they have even individual cover art for each individual song. So, and that was included in the download. I'm pretty sure of that. Anyway, it's just those those little things, especially because the second drama was tagged, and then the two most recent ones weren't tagged again. I mean, yeah, of course you can do that yourself, but then again, if you pay $10.
Yeah, a little extra polishing. I mean, especially when it's digital like that, you get it done right the first time, and then you don't have to fix it later. But even if it is not done right the first time, you can still fix it later for every subsequent purchase. I'm looking at the prices. They're not cheap, though. The box set says any 2 shows, they've got 4, $47.50, and all 4 shows, $80. Now, for 1 CD show, that's pretty. I mean, you get 4 CDs for $80. That's a little bit steep.
Yeah.
So how cheap is the download compared?
Downloads are about $10, as far as I remember.
So yeah, it's half price basically.
Yeah, and then being German in that respect is a bit of an advantage, because I can always use my German account, and when you're paying euros, it's even better because of the quite favourable exchange rate. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
I think it comes for €6. Something like that.
I can't remember what a euro is worth. It's worth more than Canadian. Well, I think that's more reasonable. $10 for, I guess it says 77 minutes for the Shadow Out of Time. I think that's a lot more reasonable. It would be okay. So it's got 1 big file versus 6 chapters. Which way did you go?
I think I went for the whole file. Yeah, I always did. Yeah.
Yeah, unless I don't. Maybe if you're going to burn it to your own CD, you would want.
Yes, I think that's exactly what they were for. But I just put them on my iPod anyway as an audiobook.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to have the individual files in that respect.
They made quite nice art though for the covers. I see they're selling.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuff like that.
And that's why I think the physical products are quite expensive, because they do these in quite limited numbers, and they are more or less collector's items. I mean, if you have a look at the other stuff that they have for sale, they are like Cthulhu statues and H.P. Lovecraft busts and whatnot. That is basically collector's stuff and produced in small numbers, and hence I reckon the rather steep price. But I do agree, $20 for a single audio drama. Yeah, that was one of the other reasons why I went for the download.
Yeah, I'm sort of torn. I'm really into I love having physical copies in my hands, but I'm starting to run out of space. So I'd want to have. You know what? It's like if there was a museum of this stuff, I'd want to own a digital copy and visit the original, play with the toys, and then say that's enough. I'm not going to look at them again. Yeah, they've got all sorts of cool looking busts and posters and amulets or whatever, and lots of downloads of prop downloads too, which I think is kind of cool. So, are you a player of the H.P. Lovecraft game? What's it called? The
Call of Cthulhu.
Right.
Well, actually, I occasionally write for the German edition.
There you go.
However, I have to admit that I didn't play in, years. Because, it's a usual thing. The older you get, the less time you have.
That's true.
All of a sudden, really weird things creep up, like jobs and, that kind of thing.
I thought Cthulhu himself was pretty weird, but yeah, you've got these strange beasts from out of the sky called jobs. I remember when the game was out in the 80s, I guess it was. Okay, it says first published in 81. I remember hearing about it, and I think that's probably actually how I found out about Lovecraft, was through the game.
You're probably not the only one, yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. But I never actually played. I had trouble finding anybody who would play any role-playing games with me. Is it
with the emphasis on with me, or is it with the emphasis on?
I feel sort of shut out. I was maybe it was my personality, and they were all hiding the fact that they wanted to play games. But no, I think it's just I was unfortunately I was basically the guy who was really into games, and no one else was.
Oh right, yeah.
I was going around, boostering it, but a one-man booster is a small club.
All right. Well, I've got some more of these arrivals.
Let's hear them.
Okay, Weiss and Hickman have started a new series called Dragon Ships. Looks like dragons on boats. Bones of the Dragon is the name of this one. It's also from Macmillan Audio, read by Stefan Rudnicki. Yeah, and I believe it's the start of a new series. So, yeah, Dragon Ships is an epic fantasy series that fully illustrates the mastery of world building and storytelling that has made Weiss and Hickman into the best-selling fantasy co-authors of all time. So, there you go.
Wow,
epic
that's
fantasy.
A bold claim.
Yeah. Well, they are quite good. They must be. I haven't read. Well, I read something by them, but I never did read the original Dragonlance, which was available on audio only abridged. But I remember it was recommended to me at one time. I can't remember by who, but they liked the abridgment. But that was years ago, and I never did track it down.
I read the paper books when they came out. I think the first 6 or so books in the series, and I thought they were really good at the time. I also played the games. I guess I don't know if the games came first or the books came first, but I did both.
Mm-hmm. I think it was actually the games first.
Yeah, it was pretty quick if it wasn't one or the other. But
yeah.
I kind of liked it because it was sort of like a reboot of the of Dungeons and Dragons, and it had its own world, which I think was a good idea because I couldn't figure out the regular Dungeons and Dragons world.
Yeah, I got to meet Tracy Hickman one time at a convention, and he is very fun. So if you ever come across a convention with him, don't hesitate to go. He's a riot.
Okay.
A lot of fun. Okay, from Brilliance, I have 2 audiobooks from Brilliance Audio that came in. One by Piers Anthony. I have no idea how to pronounce this. D-O-O-O-N, 3 O's, N, Mode. It's book 4 of the Mode series, which I don't know nothing about.
Dune.
And the middle O is capital. It's D little O big O
Whoa.
little O N. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess the narrator had to figure out how to say it.
Yeah, beyond the world we know, there is a multiverse of modes where many strange realities interlock in an infinitely intricate pattern, and a perverse and deranged emperor plays a deadly multi-dimensional game with human pawns as his slaves. And this is book 4. The only Piers Anthony... Well, no, there's been 2 Piers Anthony that I've read. On a Pale Horse. Did you ever read that one?
Did you do a review of that?
No, I don't think in fact, I didn't know it was on audio until I looked it up this morning.
Oh, yeah.
But it is on audio by George Guidall does the reading, so I may have to check that out and see if I still like it. But
I think we might.
I read it in high school, I think, and I recall really liking it. And then I read one, it was like Sauce the Rope or something like that. Something about a stick and a rope. Battle Circle or something like that. Does that sound familiar to you guys?
No, not really. Stick and a rope. Well,
yeah, it was a trilogy. Okay, looking it up on Amazon. It's a trilogy of books that are very short that they collected into one book. And it exists. It still exists, and it is. What's in there? Anyway, I recall liking that a great deal too. But Piers Anthony has written
On a Pale Horse
books
is one of the Incarnations of Immortality books. It looks like there's 6, at least from recorded books. Book 2 is not on Audible for some reason. Maybe it's not on recorded books either. But they're all first few are read by George Goodall, and then Barbara Caruso takes over.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say that I recall ever reading a Piers Anthony.
Oh.
Yeah, me neither. I think I
he's written
did
one or two books
years and years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's written a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of another author who's written a lot, Anne McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins of Pern is the name of this one. And this, I think I've seen that. It's just Anne McCaffrey. It's not Anne and, what's her son's name? Todd, yeah. Anne and Todd McCaffrey have written several of the recent ones, but this one is just Anne McCaffrey, so this must be a little bit older. Okay, when the first humans came to settle the planet Pern, they did not come alone. Intelligence-enhanced dolphins also crossed the stars to colonize Pern's oceans, while their human partners settled the vast continents. But then disaster struck. So, anyway, I love the covers of the Pern novels. They're neat.
I'm thinking back. That's another Macmillan, is it? Did you say?
No, that was Brilliance. Brilliance,
okay.
Yeah.
Brilliance.
I think Brilliance has done all the Perns. If they haven't done all of them, I mean, they sure are close.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Now,
actually, I'm listening to a Brilliance right now.
Brilliance was purchased by Amazon, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen anything new occur. It's been months now, but I haven't seen anything different occur. Have you?
No.
Yeah,
but
so
maybe they're working on something.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen there. I know not.
I'm listening to a Brilliance right now. I'm listening to Phantoms by Dean Koontz.
Ooh, yeah, I read that one in print long ago.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was quite so vintage. It's from 1983.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of, reading about it, they were saying that, actually, I was reading the Dean Koontz companion book, which it's a paper book I have. It's a very fun book. But it was saying that it sort of gave him a reputation he didn't like, which was that he was a horror writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see why they would think that, because it feels like a horror book, but it also feels like a Dean Koontz book. And I'm quite enjoying it so far.
Well, good. Yeah, I remember the first half of that book really grabbed my attention. Kind of spooky.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's about a small town, right? How far are you in?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I'm on disc 3 of 12 or something like that.
Some people come back to a small town. It was
a sister
people, right?
and two sisters come to a small town. The mother's just died, so the older sisters take care of the younger sister, and they drive into the nice, pleasant town, and nobody's walking on the streets. They think that's strange, and then they go into the house, and they smell baking bread or whatever, and the housekeeper is lying dead on the floor in the kitchen. But she's covered in bruises, or one giant bruise over her entire body. And so, they try and call the ambulance or the police or whatever, and the phone doesn't work. So they go to the neighbors, and the neighbors are all missing. So they go to the police station, and the police officer's dead on the floor, having fired his gun. And they're freaking out, and and something is wrong in this small town.
Because that's really unusual.
Yeah, I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah.
I've seen the streets deserted before, but
that's for sure.
I think it's probably because these kind of books are so popular. It's all these small town people buying them because nothing ever happens in their small towns.
I agree. I live in one, and I am saying yes. That's absolutely right. That's good stuff. Like Salem's Lot is one that comes to mind. That's about a small town. Yeah. So.
I think there's something fun about setting a story in a small town, though, because it's like having its own little closed world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
makes it so more knowable than setting it at the big bad city.
Yeah, there's
even big bad city stories can be small town stories, really.
Yeah, I live across the street from the mayor and the coroner, and it's the same guy. Yeah. Hopefully he has more mayoral work than coroner work. Depends on if it's a Dean Town or not, I guess. You bet. So it's good stuff. So Karsten, are you a fan mainly of audio drama?
Well, originally I think I was, mainly because I basically grew up with audio dramas, and well, actually thinking about it, I probably my love for science fiction and later on fantasy or fantastic literature in general actually stems from convincing my mum to buy me an audio drama on cassette when I was about, I don't know, 7 or something.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, recently I also got into audiobooks.
Okay. Do you have any standouts that, things that you've heard, through your life that, like, man, everybody should hear this one, and in the audio drama category?
I don't know, because the ones that I listened to when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
But the good thing is that it basically had a huge revival in Germany over the last few years. I think it was never really dead, audio dramas, so you always had them on radio stations and stuff. Mm-hmm. But in recent years there's been a huge amount of new titles coming out, quite a lot of them straight to CD, so they're not connected to a radio station.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
But they will be produced directly to CD. And I was talking to Jesse about this 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is that for example, there's one series which is set in Canada, in Vancouver, called Gabriel Burns. The production values are tremendously good. The series itself has, to be honest, gone downhill quite a bit recently. I probably shouldn't say that because it got huge amount of fans.
It's okay, don't take offense.
And the thing is that they can boast to have half of Hollywood in there, in a bit of a roundabout way, because foreign movies are usually dubbed in Germany
instead of subtitled.
Usually. Yeah, instead of subtitled. But usually they try to have the same voice actor for each actor. So you actually get familiar with that voice, and you very often automatically connect that voice to this actor. And apparently for these voice actors who most of the time don't do anything else apart from dubbing films and television series, they have discovered the market of audio dramas for them. And that is brilliant, because they are trained voice actors. They don't do anything else. And because they are so connected with these Hollywood actors, you actually can produce an audio drama which sounds like, you got the cream de la cream of the acting world in.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. And occasionally they even play with it, like in this series Gabriel Burns, the one of the main characters, Bakerman. He's played by the voice actor of Patrick Stewart. And in one of the first episodes, he is described as a smallish, elderly, balding man with grey hair, and it's like, yeah, right, that is exactly how you automatically have this picture of this person in mind when you hear the voice.
Oh, that's neat.
I think that's just an awesome, it's a sort of a spillover effect from having a certain kind of industry. You have a natural growth of an industry that you couldn't have that happen here. You couldn't have people be really into audio drama because they're trying to follow the same, actor into another field. We don't seem to have that crossover.
Yeah, probably. Unless, of course, you get a proper actor doing some audio drama.
It's
which is highly unlikely, I reckon.
Well, I think what you mean by proper actor is a famous actor, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it actually has happened a little bit. The Seeing Ear Theater stuff, have you heard any of that? They had some...
yes, I have, yeah.
Basically, they'd do a show and then they'd have 1 star for each show. So, and they're not like number 1 on their list, but they had some really great voice actors. B.B. Newworth.
I remember Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi was in one, yeah. That was in the J. Michael Straczynski series.
Yeah.
City of Dreams.
Yeah, I think it was the first episode, yeah.
Yeah, I wish that was if somebody was to make an official podcast feed. That's the audio dramas I'd want to see done first, because some amazing stuff there.
It's a really shame, because I think it must have been last year when I came across the Seeing Air audio feed again after a couple of years, and I was like, bloody hell, that's huge. This is a treasure trove, right?
It was.
And about, I think, a week later, they shut it down.
If they had done that now instead of doing it back with real audio, it would have been huge. If they had done it now instead of doing it at the time, which was, when the internet was still, or the web was still getting people coming on to it. Now it would have been huge. It would have been huge. I'm very regretful. I mean, I'm amazed that they lasted as long as they did, given that there's no advertising.
I think they probably got forgotten by some webmaster who was a fan. When the
budget was just cut instantaneously. It was all funded by the Sci-Fi Channel, and the budget for the program was cut in mid recording or something, because they had advertising for next week on the J. Michael Straczynski series was unfinished.
Yeah,
and they had just cut it off in midstream, and then it was there on the website. It was available for listening for a long time, and then all of a sudden it was cut off. So, but yeah, I mean, there are actually some. They did have some CD and cassette releases of some of the stuff, and I think I've reviewed some of that. But it's definitely time for an unofficial podcast feed for some of that stuff.
How many of those shows were there?
At least series there was at least 4 or 5. There was a revival of the Crypt Keeper series. What's that called?
Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt. That was one series, and they had some great writing in that. They also had the J. Michael Straczynski City of Dreams series. Neil Gaiman famously had two stories, and those are available on CD still, I believe. Two shows, both are excellent.
Yeah.
And then there was actually dozens and dozens of independent programs based on classic short stories and such.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know if it's still active, but we used to have a page on it. I think I did go back and fix that all up. That's pretty amazing. Oh, well, it's not showing up. Wow, I should fix that. Get somebody interested in making an unofficial podcast feed. And then the problem is I don't know that a lot of the stuff is available, except as a real audio at some point. And they weren't easy to record,
Oh, well, I mean, you might incidentally have a copy of Audacity on your computer.
Yeah, but at the time, Audacity
true.
didn't exist. There was there were pieces of software for recording, but it was very unfortunate. I remember having a double of a time recording some of this stuff so I could make it portable and take it with me. Karsten, have you seen a show called Secret Army, a British show from the 70s?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm watching it now. It's really awesome. It's like a you know the show Allo Allo?
Yeah.
I've never seen that, but or if I did, I didn't watch it. But
now listen very carefully, because she says it's only once. What? Now listen very carefully, because she says it's only once. Pardon?
Yeah. And I think it was probably on television when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, the only thing I would watch is cartoons. You know, I'm 7 years old, and I'm saying, this is not a cartoon. You don't seem to understand. I'm not interested in this unless it's a cartoon. Now, of course, I look back fondly on all those British shows like Are You Being Served and all that stuff. It's more interesting to me if it was on television now. I'd be much happier than watching the crappy cartoons that were on. But this is a show that I missed. Secret Army is a show that preceded Allo Allo, and that Allo Allo is spoofing. It's a drama, hour-long drama set in Belgium during World War II, and the main character is he runs a bar or a hotel or something. No, it's like a bar sort of thing, and he's the head of a evasion line where they help bomber pilots who've been shot down get back to England to keep going. And it's a great series. It's so dramatic, but I can absolutely see why they ended up spoofing it with Allo Allo, because it has the level of drama so high, and yet it's got all the it's this guy's having he's got a wife upstairs who's an invalid, and downstairs one of the waitresses is also his common law wife, right? And yet he's also got the SS officer coming in the door, and the Luftwaffe is coming in, and it was like I can totally see why they turned it into a comedy.
I wonder if I remember it must have been in the 70s. Yeah, 70s or maybe early 80s, but I reckon it was 70s movie. Mm-hmm. I think it was a French one with Louis de Funès.
I don't know.
Who was a sort of famous French comedian. Some of his movies are quite good, others are just unbearable because he completely overdoes it. I can't remember the title, however, there was a song in there, T for two and two for tea, which sort of went through the whole movie, and that was basically the same idea of, I think it was a British bomber crew being shot down over France, and they just want to make their way to the unoccupied part of France, hoping that it would be easier for them then to get away, and that is quite hilarious as well. And I wonder whether this series has influenced this movie as well.
I would think so. It's a British series. But all the characters in it, except for, I guess, the few English pilots, are supposed to be Belgians or Dutch or French. But it's so dramatic. I find myself compelled to, I'm like, I'm going to save this one for tomorrow. It's so good.
All right.
So I'm already on the second series, and there's 3 series. And now I want to get Hello Hello just to see, to do the comparison. There's a podcast out of the UK, Lovecraft Gaming Podcast. You know the one I mean?
This is really embarrassing now.
Yog Radio.
Oh, hang on.
Yog Radio, that's it.
Oh, right, yeah, I think I heard about that one.
Yogsfff.com is Yog dash.
Yeah, I know the site definitely. I wonder whether Adam might be.
Hosts are Paul McLean, Finn Patterson, and Neil Young.
All right, okay. Yeah, I probably came across it, but I don't know. I try to keep the number of podcasts that I'm listening to. slow, because otherwise I just fall into the whole hunter-gatherer kind of thing and try to get as many as I can, right? And I'd never have the time to actually listen to them.
Well, I hope this one's on your top of your list. I mean, our podcast, not Yog Radio. If you're on it, that has to be collectible, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Okay. Yeah, they've done some readings. I think that's that's if you've seen the post about, I've posted about some of the readings. They're really into something that seems to be very popular as well, which is recording play sessions.
All right.
I think that's like it's kind of like radio drama in a way, because, or at least amateur radio drama, because it's like people are having fun. They don't do it because they expect millions of people are going to listen to it. They're not going to get a record contract or contract. They're doing it because they're doing it anyways, and hey, why don't we record it? It might be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, potentially that could be quite good, but potentially it could also be the most boring thing ever.
That's what I'm thinking. But it seems to be pretty popular. I know Charles Tan on the Bibliophile Stalker blog, he keeps track of actual play sessions of role-playing games that are podcast.
So you think in popular, it's actually there are people out there that are listening to it, and it's not only loads and loads of people that are producing it because they think, oh my god, this is popular.
Yeah, so, I think that it's sort of a byproduct of the fact that they're sort of geeky people, right? So they like playing the game, and they also like playing with iPods and recording equipment, and so they go together. And it's not that there's a giant demand for actual play sessions. It's just that, we have this technology here, and it's free to record, and maybe if you missed the last, you couldn't play up in the last session, you can catch up or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's just a surrogate for all these people that are, have jobs now and can't play anymore.
Like me, being jealous of.
Yeah. But now that you mentioned, I remember reading at Will Wheaton's blog some time ago. I think that there were recordings of him playing as well. I think D&D 4th edition, which he thinks is brilliant, which is why I think, maybe my high opinion of him wasn't that justified at all, but well,
maybe he's just got a good campaign and you don't understand that. His campaign is so much better than everybody else's module or whatever.
Possibly, but well.
I guess you could do it. You could actually get some interest there if you have celebrity play sessions. Like, I think Vin Diesel's a D&D fan, right? So you get the Vin Diesel role-playing game. People would probably listen to that out of curiosity, even if they're not big fans of.
I mean, if it was a good session, I could definitely see that it could be really funny. But yeah, I think it depends very much on the session, and then you would need some serious editing in there as well.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, it's certainly. I think it's participatory enjoyment is the main thing. You have fun in the action in the play, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah. No, I mean it's just as far as a listener is concerned. I don't know.
I've listened. I actually
give it a try.
I think I have listened to some, and I think that would have been back when podcasting was young, so there wasn't quite as much available. Yog Radio was, I think, one of the ones I listened to, and the thing I think that bothers me about most role-playing games is that it's all about the things, which is, I guess, kind of funny. But the equipment and the technology and the number of pieces of gold and
Oh right, yeah.
It's like poor people imagining all the things they could own if they were rich.
Well, I think that depends on what kind of style of game you want to play.
Yeah.
There's those that just see it like a. Well, I was just about to say like a bit like a board game, but that is of course not true. You have your ultimate aim and lots of obstacles, and getting the right equipment together is just one way of solving this problem, right? Optimizing. And then you have loads and loads of other people that don't particularly care about that part of the game, and just concentrate on the stories and developing the character, just having fun, which I think both of them are totally understandable and fine. I think it's just what kind of style of game you enjoy more.
Yeah. I can see the attraction of both, but like in the going back to Fallout 3, there is a lot of time spent, wandering around looking to find new weapons and new skills and all the stuff that make the discovery is a lot of the fun part. But there's story elements that are good too. They go together to make it a very compelling game. But when I was doing my research for what games I'm going to buy, all my reading about the Age of Conan game made me think that it was absolutely not going to be a good game for me. And the reason was it seemed to be all about the getting the exclusive War Rhino and the exclusive this and the exclusive that.
Oh yeah.
Sword the plus sharpening or whatever. And that to me was like, that's totally not what Robert E. Howard's stories were about. They're not about getting the goods. It's about getting a good story and having a dramatic adventure rather than equipment love.
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons why stuff like World of Warcraft never really interested me.
Yeah.
Because you work towards getting this, level 60 suit of blah blah armor, and once you got it, you're that high level anyway that all the enemies that you encounter are stronger as well. So it's actually not that a good piece of kit any longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
In comparison, so I don't know.
Yeah, and once I've topped out on playing Fallout 2, the maximum level is level 20. Now I don't seem to have any interest in killing things. Now I just want to go for story, because I can't get any improvements on any of my skills except by finding items. But it's like, oh, there's another rad scorpion. I'll just avoid that confrontation. We'll go past them, because they're not.
Because even bloody mess gets a bit boring after a while.
Yeah. Wow, sounds like somebody's played the originals.
Yes, I did.
Scott, have you played any Fallout?
No. Nope. It's the job thing.
The job thing, the kids, the wife thing.
We mentioned earlier, I just don't have time to play very often. So it's hard to get into these.
I thought you played it for like a weekend.
No, my son did.
Something. Oh,
he borrowed
you didn't have a
from
chance?
What's that?
You didn't have a chance to, no.
No, I watched him for a little bit.
Let me try that.
No, sure didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. Yeah, time is a big issue.
You bet.
What about the other one I wanted to ask you about, Carson? I don't know if we corresponded about this or not, but I've been hearing lots of good things about it. The Scarifiers. Have you heard any of that? The
Scarifiers. I think I heard about that. Oh, right. Yeah. That is, I think, is on BBC 7.
Mm-hmm. And it's also available on CD, and I've been somebody's been posting about it, and it's been making me saying, I might be missing something really good here. Yeah. So it's actually Rich Carlson has been posting about Scarifiers. I guess it's kind of like It almost feels like a spin-off of Doctor Who. Cosmic Hobo Productions. Nicholas Courtney. I guess he's the head of unit, the Brigadier. Lethbridge Stewart is the actor, and then it's like I guess Doctor Who meets the X-Files or something like that, with a bit of comedy.
All right, yeah. No, I think I haven't heard anything. I just checked my my huge folder for BBC audio drama.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think I haven't recorded that one. So I have a huge backlog of stuff that I should probably try out. And yeah, I do have the BBC 7 newsletter. I get that one weekly. Mm-hmm. And half the time, at least in the last couple of months, I forget the stuff that I really want to get. It's just I have a quick read and I'm like, all right, I really should set that one on my list. Because yes, it is still legal to record that stuff.
Oh yeah, as it should be. The other good source, have you tried radioarchive.com? Or .cc, I should say.
Is it just Radio Archive? No, I think
radioarchive.cc is it's torrents for public radio.
All right, okay.
And mostly it's BBC. It does have some CBC stuff, but that's relatively rare. And they have some amazing stuff. And none of the stuff is it's all recorded off air, so it's not ripping from CDs that came out.
Yeah.
It's all recorded off air, and there's some amazing stuff on there. I've been especially surprised with the factual stuff, the non-fiction elements.
Yeah.
But it's it's something I guess because I mostly tune for BBC 7, which is almost all fiction. That I'm missing on all the other stations, BBC 4 and
BBC 4 is occasionally some good audio dramas as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think they were the ones who published the Dirk Gently.
Yes, absolutely.
Which had Billy Boyd of Lord of the Rings fame in it.
Is that one of the Hobbits? I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah, that was one of the Hobbits. Who, even in real life, because I once went to a Lord of the Rings convention for doing some interviews and stuff for a magazine, and well, I think they didn't have to make him that much smaller digitally.
Well, short people have to get work too.
Oh, absolutely.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about. Now, I'm sort of doing this all vicariously. I don't think I've actually. Maybe I have listened to BBC actually as a radio. When I was in the UK, I might have listened to it on the radio occasionally. But is it true that there's English radio broadcasters in the Netherlands? Do you know? I heard that there was like off the broadcasting either for the Netherlands or for the UK, but from the Netherlands. And the idea being it's sort of to compete with BBC. This is quite a while ago. And I thought they might have done some radio drama given how much the BBC had done.
No, I wasn't aware of that, to be honest.
Okay, well, I could be hallucinating. But I do recall reading about that. Maybe it was to do with some Doctor Who stuff. I can't remember exactly.
Or maybe that is just in the age-old tradition of British pirate radio.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, British pirate radio. But it was done either offshore in the Netherlands or at one of those, oil drilling rigs off of the coast.
Yeah, see, that is one of the problems for, I think, the proper British pirate radio, and that is that in the 80s, where the 3-mile zone
got
expanded to a 12-mile zone, because I remember two examples, one of them being in the north of England, a radio station in the 60s on a fish cutter, just 3 miles out, and the lads from the surrounding area would drive up to the coast and just morse over the music requests and of course greetings to their sweethearts, which the radio station would then play, which of course you can't do over 12 miles, I reckon. And another quite famous one, which still exists as a principality, which isn't recognized by any country in the world at all, which would be the Kingdom of Sealand, which sits on a former World War II flag platform. Because apparently the UK built some flag platforms in the Thames mouth to stop German bombers flying in from there. But then later on, and some of them were in at the time international waters, were later on disbanded. And yeah, one guy claimed it for himself, set up a pirate radio station. Later on, I think he wanted to make a tax haven outfit, and most recently, a form of data haven.
Yeah.
The problem is that it is now within the 12-mile zone. However, he says, well, but there are international treaties saying that if we expand our 12-mile zone, it must not cut off another country's 12-mile zone. So, well, legally, he probably is right in a way, but the problem is that no country in the world really recognizes the principality.
Yeah, international law is basically controlled by what you're willing to enforce your country's borders with weapons, I guess. And
well, they did have a war.
Did they?
Yeah, they did have a war, because I think when he tried to set up the tax haven, he worked with a couple of dodgy Dutch and I think German businessmen who took over the platform and held him prisoner, which is why his son organized a couple of shotguns and a helicopter and went over there.
Wow.
And just overran it. And this, I think, is one of the claims to international recognition, and that is because they then again held the hijackers captive, and I think a German diplomat went there to negotiate the getting back the one or two Germans that were involved in the whole thing. And that is one of the reasons why they say, okay, right, so they actually sent a diplomat. That means they recognize us as an independent state.
And they'll grasp any straw. Why not? Well, it sounds to me like it might be a dangerous place to keep your data, but just because if the king is sleepy, there's nobody to turn the electricity back on or whatever. But yeah, I've read a bit about Sealand, and it's cute. It's very cute. Probably going to get threats from the Sealand Navy now.
Oh yeah, possibly.
Yeah, so they're not still operating a radio station, is my guess.
No, as far as I know.
Any parting words?
Pardon?
Any parting words? Parting shots?
Well, you mean apart from it's been a great pleasure and an honour on the
yes,
SFFaudio Podcast.
Apart from that, that goes without saying. Clearly.
All right then. Yeah, well, I just would say macht's gut und danke für den Fisch, which would be from the German translation. Oh, right, okay.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
Very nice. Actually, that's the one show that you talked about. Scott was asking, what's the one show you think of as a favorite? Well, clearly, we know which one it was now.
Oh well, yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say which one is my favorite because it's
a favorite. A favorite.
Yeah, a favorite.
Yeah, if you say it is my favorite, you're basically cutting yourself off from too much. But a favorite, you can have lots of favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a favorite finger. I have favorite fingers. 10 of them. And I don't want to see any of them go anywhere.
All right. That is a strange philosophy, but well.
This is from meeting when I was a kid. I met a guy with a missing finger, and I thought it was a trick. I thought he was trying to trick me. And after, it was a strange revelation. I said, because I've seen people pull their thumbs off before. I'm skeptical. I don't think that's real. And no, his finger's missing. No, you're hiding it somewhere. It's really there, and I just can't see it. Because I'm not buying into this. And then when I finally discovered, oh my God, his finger's actually missing, never want that to happen to me. Never!
Yep. And the only place that you might...
from chains and farming machinery. That's basically how I live my life, is trying to avoid losing any fingers. So, if they get me into the torture chamber, they know how to threaten me. I'm pretty easy.
Oh, God.
All right. All right, well.
Thanks a bunch, guys.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good time. This has been the SFFaudio Podcast. Please join us at www.sffaudio.com.